Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, hello, viewers. Welcome back. I'm John.
I'm Brandon.
And as you notice, Brandon and I, for our advanced live stream, decided to coordinate. When you coordinate, it means you are wearing similar things.
Yes,
Yeah.
you planned something, right? So we
Yeah.
coordinated our shirts.
Mhm.
Not really, but we just so
No.
happened to show up in these plaid shirts.
Yeah, plaid is your word of the day. It's not what we're talking about, but it's spelled P-L-A-I-D, and it is a pattern like this that's dear to my heart because my family is Scottish in origin.
Oh!
We've been in the U.S. for a long
the
time.
kilts and the bagpipes
Yeah.
and all that.
A
Nice.
kilt is the little skirt that Scottish men wear. It's a very, it's manly, we promise.
Yeah. But that's all extra information today,
Yes,
right? We're
today-
not talking about kilts.
No, we're not. But we are talking about distractions. So we've just shared a distraction. Today we're going to talk about distracted driving. It's actually a really
Ooh.
serious topic, and it can get us in a lot of trouble. Okay, let's first talk about driving. What makes driving so difficult?
Well, there's a lot of things. So I don't drive that often here, but sometimes I do, and I can get distracted because there's a lot going on, right? It's important not to get distracted. You know, your phone can be a distraction, but there also can be a lot of distractions on the street. Like, you know, there's a lot of things going on.
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
and what I was thinking of too, I know this isn't about driving, but even if you're walking, you're looking at your phone, so you have to be careful about that as well.
I was almost in a distracted walking accident. When I
Right?
first came to Taipei, I was looking at my phone, walking on the sidewalk. I know, rookie mistake, and I stepped off of a step that was about this tall. So all of a sudden, I'm on my phone and I just fell forward, and thank God I caught myself. But
Oh, I love it. That's
distracted
terrible.
walking, and
Yeah.
then a guy kind of looked at me like,
Yeah,
and I
it
was like,
should be.
I know, I'm
But
so
some
sorry.
people, they have it down to an art form. They can sort of pay attention to what's going on and still look at their phone, but hey, you still have to watch out because you might get caught off guard, which means that someone may run into you.
Yeah.
Or you might run into someone or something.
So our article today, we're talking about the December 7th and 8th article
Yeah.
from Advanced Magazine. If you look quickly to our article in our magazine today, it is about a really cool story about a ramen noodle startup and being an entrepreneur. So it's a really cool article for you.
And the guy's from Taiwan, so be sure to
Yeah.
check that out. He now lives in California and it has this noodle startup, so check that out.
His big story breaking through to the market in Costco. I just wanted to talk about distracted driving earlier in the week. I just think it's a more important topic, and it might save your life. You never know.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
one thing that when I think distracted driving, I immediately think my smartphone. I'm using it half the time in the car anyway for Google Maps.
Yeah.
So it's easy for notifications to pop up on there, and it's a major distractor. Let's really quick start with our poll for the day. When you drive or walk or ride a scooter, what distracts you the most? Which one of these things distracts you the most? When you're distracted, it means your focus is pulled away from what it's supposed to be on.
Yeah.
So
Maybe it could be your phone.
your phone,
Or the dashboard, right?
Mhm.
There's another one.
your phone, the car dashboard, other people,
Yes.
maybe your passengers in the car, or simply your own thoughts. I know there are times when I've driven and I was upset or thinking about something, and I almost got in an accident. Just confession. So we'd love to hear your stories. Also, we'd like to, as we're taking that poll, it looks like phone is number one so far.
Yeah.
So take that poll. But we also would love to hear your driving tips. So as we discuss distracted driving today, please take a second and just comment. Give us a little practice writing in English, and we'd love to interact with you on the live stream. The question for today is, do you have any tips for us for driving more safely?
We need help, right?
Yeah.
We are foreigners here. We need your help driving. So maybe you have some special tips that you could give us, but also everyone else that's watching right now, maybe that would help them as well.
So what is a helpful tip for driving safely is the question. Don't forget to take that poll. Okay, so we're foreigners. I came to Taipei and pretty much started driving almost immediately because I had a very generous uncle who had a car, and he lets us use his car.
You know, John, I commend you for that. Like, it took me about 12 years before I was willing to venture out into the streets of Taipei, but I've done it, and I've survived. I don't do it often. I prefer to drive somewhere outside the city more, but it's an adventure.
So it's kind of crazy because here in Taipei, we know we've got a lot of scooters. I think the rain sometimes. Yeah, you've seen them. You know those things you sit on. But the scooters are definitely the biggest danger for me as I drive. So I had experience driving. I was a delivery driver as one of my many side jobs during my times in Los Angeles. And so I was used to driving on a bike and driving in a car, delivering food quickly. So that helped me. But having scooters constantly in your lane can be very dangerous. A friend of mine was hit by a car on his scooter, broke his leg not too long ago. Have you ever been in a car accident?
I've been in small ones, not here in Taiwan, but in the U.S. Thank God, nothing major.
Yeah.
That's scary, right? And if you're on a scooter, right, there's less protection, so that's a scary thing. But lots of people do it every day.
Yeah.
So you do have to watch out for scooters and bikes and that sort of thing. Of course, and cars, as you all know if you drive. But there are a lot of distractions, but really our article's talking a lot about like phone distractions, or maybe you have the dashboard. There's a lot going on these days in newer cars.
Yeah.
It's like a tablet right there, and there's a lot you can do, which is really helpful. There's voice commands that you can use. I wonder if you guys use any of that like newer technology maybe. Do you like ask Siri something or whatever the voice command technology that you're using? Do you find that helpful? I would forget to use that, I think, and because I'm old school and, you know, I wouldn't think to maybe do that, but maybe you find that helpful, maybe you don't.
Right, and that's kind of the question about technology, right? What do we need versus what do we have or what do we want to do? So automakers are in a constant competition, right? Everyone is trying to sell the newest, best car. So it's no surprise that automakers are always trying to add new features, right?
Yeah, and I love the dashboard, like tablet thing right there in the center, because you can have the map, you can have the map come up and all that sort of thing, and it is really convenient. But you have to be careful not to be playing around with that while you're driving, right? But the idea is that this stuff would help us to be less distracted, but can actually be more of a distraction. Actually, I like in our article, John, it says that it's a candy store of distraction. Imagine
candy store of distraction.
A 5-year-old going into a candy store and seeing all the options, and you're totally distracted.
Yeah, that's a great phrase. Candy, like you're like a kid in a candy store. You could say, "Oh, when I went to the car sales place, I was like a kid in a candy store." So now there is this ethical question for automakers as they try to push new technologies with more automated features and more distractions, more digital things to do in your car. Are they actually making their cars less safe, even if it is like a safety feature like a rear view camera? Is it better just to be paying attention to the real world?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's hard as a car manufacturer. They want to sell cars, so that's their top priority. And yes, they're going to make things appear as if they are safe, and maybe some of them are, but of course their top priority is making money, right? And they want to do things that people actually want, but that may not actually make things safer or make the environment safer.
Yeah, so it's this question, and oftentimes for auto companies, it's not just one person making all the decisions, right? So an engineer might invent something and hope that it's used in a safe way, but then there might be what we call a conflict of interest. So this is a really important thing to think about.
And John, we hear from Sophie. She says, frankly speaking, driving in big cities in Taiwan is quite dangerous. For many drivers have road rage.
Yes, Sophie, I'm glad you used that phrase, road rage. We wanted to talk about road rage today.
Yes.
So what have you ever had road rage?
Yes, absolutely, Sophie. I kind of regret you bringing that up because I don't want to admit it.
Sophie.
I don't have road rage here in Taiwan because I have too many other things to focus on. I'm not used to driving here enough to get road rage, maybe a little bit. But when I was in the U.S., I drove a lot more, and I would easily get road rage. You know, road rage is when you're in a car and someone does something you don't like and it makes you really angry. You hear a lot of people honking on the streets of Taipei. I feel like in my 12 years, like it's gotten more and more. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older and more sensitive, but there is a lot of road rage out there, and it can be kind of silly sometimes because someone just did something that you didn't like, but you have to tell them about it. Or sometimes we want to hide behind our horns, right? And just honk, honk, honk. But if we were face to face with them, we would never act that way, right?
Yeah, it's easy to get frustrated when you have to be somewhere quick. I think that's the problem with driving. You're driving so you can be somewhere else. So normally road rage is about something else, not just driving. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Brian also points out that, Brian says, I think chatting with passengers can also be a distraction. That is so true. I'm a pretty chatty person, and I find that oftentimes I get distracted. I forget my exit. Boy, that's happened a lot. So thanks for reminding me.
That's happened to me on the MRT. I'll be talking to someone and I forgot where I was supposed to get off. So.
And Alan actually has one of my favorite comments here. Elevated roads in Taipei are so complicated that I have trouble getting around the interchange, even though I'm a local. Okay, Alan.
That makes me feel better.
And sometimes Google Maps doesn't know if you're up or below. How could it?
Too much going on.
So I've gotten lost my first day coming to work at Advanced here. It was rush hour traffic. I was driving kind of one of the first times, and I took an exit that took me 20 minutes. I was 20 minutes late. And then as I came back from the exit, I took another wrong exit. And so I was nearly an hour late to my first day because I missed the interchange and ended up in traffic.
I hate that because you take the wrong
I feel you.
You take the wrong exit and then there's not another place to exit for a long time. So you're really messed up.
So, but if you don't miss it, then the elevated road is great, but it just gets you across neighborhoods.
Once you're on the elevated road, it's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
It's just getting hot.
All right, so we've reached the end of our poll time. It looks like phone is securely in the lead with half of the votes. 50% of people say phone distracts you the most. I'm there with you. I think my phone pulls attention, but other people are a close second. So other people is in third, and my own thoughts is in second place. So true. It's easy to just be distracted in here. I think that's the source of distraction.
I agree with that.
Cooper, I'm glad you're here joining us. And Brian, you want to read that comment?
Yeah, Brian says, nowadays, drivers are getting educated with defensive driving concepts in order to avoid accidents. Defensive driving.
Excellent vocab there, Brian.
You're kind of, how would you describe defensive driving? Like if you're on the offense, you're trying to, maybe you're doing things that make other people angry, actually, if you're doing that in that sort of way. But if you're defensive, you're preparing sort of.
Prepare for the worst. You're like, I'm going to be careful where other cars are. I'm not going to drive aggressively, but be aware that someone might do something.
But then if you're not aggressive, sometimes you feel like you're not going to get where you need to go. It's a hard line to toe.
Sometimes you hold up traffic. So, and I think the next comment here by Sophie points out that the function of honking is absolutely different in Taiwan. Okay, so this is an important cultural thing. I would agree with you. And I think driving and honking, just like talking and moving, can be a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
In one of our classes, we're talking about how different cultures, there's like a different space you put between people. And driving is the same. Some cities honk all the time. Some cities honk less.
Well, different honks mean different things, right? A tiny honk might just be, I'm here, watch out, I'm coming through. And a loud, long honk means something totally different. Right?
Yeah. So my family's from rural Illinois. So if you go outside of Chicago in the United States, very quiet, very friendly. If a car is like far away, you might just stop and wait for them and kind of wave to everybody. So in the small towns, right? So if you honk at someone, that's basically saying, let's fight. It's like you don't honk. But in Taipei, you're right. You need to let people know, hey, I'm here, or hey, can we move along?
But some of them, I think, do mean let's fight. I think they want to get time.
So, but you don't want to take it personally. Well, friends, time's up for today. I hope you enjoyed the magazine this week. We look forward to talking more about Christmas in the upcoming weeks.
Right. Look at this cover.
Yeah.
This guy right here wrote a Christmas article coming up.
I had a fun time writing the Christmas article. It's close to my heart. Friends, if you want more content on Christmas or on Jesus Christ, who Christmas is about, go to our Bible Talk channel. This is our new channel to talk about the Bible. It'll help you understand Western culture better, but it's specifically about our faith in Jesus. So check it out. There's more chance to practice English together. We'd love to hear your comments and your own thoughts on what you believe.
Don't forget our Christmas rallies coming up. We have one in Kaohsiung and 2 in Taipei. Check the back of your magazine for more information.
Yes. There will be dancing, singing by our beautiful Heavenly Melody singers, and we hope to meet you there. So stop by.
See you guys next Monday.
And Merry Christmas. Drive safe.
Stay safe, driving.
Yay.